What if everything you thought you knew about ancient China was deliberately obscured? What if the most profound discoveries in human history were buried beneath layers of secrecy, hidden from the world for over 2 millennia? Tonight, we journey into the shadows of the past to uncover truths that powerful forces have worked tirelessly to keep hidden. Deep in the mountains of central China, where mist clings to ancient peaks like ghostly fingers, lies evidence of a civilization far more advanced than history books dare acknowledge. The official narrative speaks of gradual technological progress, of slow development over centuries, but the evidence tells a different story entirely, a story of suppressed knowledge, of capabilities that defy our understanding of what ancient peoples could achieve. In the year 1974, farmers digging a well stumbled upon what would become one of archaeology's most celebrated discoveries. But what they found first, before the cameras arrived, before the experts descended upon the site, tells a far more disturbing tale. Local witnesses reported artifacts that vanished overnight, objects that displayed impossible precision, materials that shouldn't have existed in that era. These items were quickly whisked away by unknown authorities, never to be seen again. The famous terracotta warriors that emerged from that site, they represent only a fraction of what lies beneath. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed vast chambers, complex tunnel systems stretching for miles underground, and structures that dwarf anything visible to the public. Yet access to these areas remains strictly forbidden. Why? What could be so sensitive about ancient pottery and bronze weapons? The answer lies in understanding what ancient Chinese civilization truly achieved. Consider the precision of these warrior statues. Each face unique, each detail impossibly accurate. Modern forensic analysis has revealed something startling. These faces match genetic patterns found in populations scattered across the globe, from Europe to South America. How could ancient artisans capture the physiological characteristics of peoples they supposedly never encountered? But the warriors are merely the surface of a deeper mystery. Ancient Chinese texts, predating the warrior site by centuries, describe technologies that sound remarkably similar to modern innovations. They speak of vehicles that moved without wheels or animals, of mirrors that could show distant lands, of weapons that could strike targets beyond the horizon. For generations, scholars dismissed these as mythology, as the fevered imagination of primitive minds. But what if they were historical records? In the forbidden archives of certain institutions, documents exist that paint a very different picture of ancient Chinese capabilities. Metallurgical analysis of artifacts suppressed for decades shows alloys that shouldn't have been possible with ancient techniques. Chemical compositions that require industrial processes supposedly invented only in the last century. Crystal formations arranged in patterns that mirror modern electronic components. The implications are staggering. If ancient Chinese civilization possessed advanced metallurgy, if they understood principles of physics and chemistry that we're only now rediscovering, then everything we've been taught about human progress becomes suspect. More disturbing still is the pattern of suppression surrounding these discoveries. Archaeological teams that stumble upon evidence contradicting official timelines find their funding mysteriously cut. Researchers who publish papers suggesting advanced ancient technologies face ridicule from academic peers, their careers effectively ended. Museums display only sanitized versions of artifacts, keeping the most provocative pieces locked away from public view. But why? Why would anyone want to suppress evidence of ancient human achievement? The answer lies in understanding what such revelations would mean for our current power structures. If humanity possessed advanced knowledge thousands of years ago, if civilizations rose to heights we're only now reaching, then our entire concept of progress, of evolution, of linear advancement crumbles. Consider the implications for established institutions. Universities built their reputations on specific historical narratives. Religious organizations have invested centuries in particular creation stories. Governments derive legitimacy from being seen as the pinnacle of human development. All of these would face existential crises if the true scope of ancient achievement came to light. The evidence extends far beyond the warrior site. Throughout China, in locations marked as restricted or dangerous on modern maps, lie ruins that tell impossible stories. Stone blocks cut with laser-like precision, arranged in configurations that demonstrate knowledge of advanced mathematics and engineering. Underground facilities with ventilation systems more sophisticated than many modern buildings, all officially explained away as natural formations or primitive construction techniques. Satellite imagery, available to those who know where to look, reveals geometric patterns etched into remote landscapes. These formations, visible only from significant height, suggest a civilization capable of massive coordinated projects, of planning and execution on a scale that dwarfs modern capabilities. Yet ground access to these areas remains impossible for independent researchers. The ancient Chinese themselves left clues, hidden in plain sight for those willing to see. Their mathematical texts contain formulas that wouldn't be discovered by Western science for another millennium. Their astronomical records demonstrate understanding of celestial mechanics that required precise instrumentation. Their medical knowledge included procedures that modern physicians are only beginning to appreciate. But perhaps most telling are the gaps in their records. Sudden stops in technological development, abrupt shifts in architectural styles, unexplained abandonment of advanced techniques. It's as if someone deliberately erased chapters from the story, carefully removing evidence of capabilities that didn't fit approved narratives. The pattern repeats throughout Chinese history. Dynasties that displayed remarkable innovation suddenly collapse or fade into obscurity. Knowledge that should have been preserved across generations mysteriously vanishes. Entire cities, once centers of learning and advancement, become ghost towns almost overnight, their populations dispersed, their libraries empty. Modern attempts to reconstruct these lost techniques often fail despite access to contemporary technology. Ancient concrete recipes that produce structures lasting millennia cannot be replicated. Metallurgical processes that created flexible, unbreakable blades remain mysterious. Navigation instruments that guided vessels across vast oceans with impossible accuracy continue to baffle engineers. The question becomes unavoidable. Did ancient Chinese civilization develop independently, or did they have access to knowledge from elsewhere? The global distribution of similar architectural techniques, the presence of identical astronomical alignments across continents, the universal appearance of certain symbols and measurements all suggest connections that official history denies. Trade routes supposedly limited to silk and spices may have carried far more significant cargo, knowledge, techniques, possibly even individuals moving between civilizations separated by vast distances. The famous expeditions of ancient Chinese admirals, officially described as diplomatic missions, may have been something far more substantial. Archaeological evidence from distant shores shows Chinese artifacts where none should exist according to conventional timelines. But the most disturbing aspect of this suppression isn't what was hidden from the past, but what continues to be hidden today. Modern excavations in China operate under strict oversight, with international observers limited in their access and documentation. Discoveries that contradict established narratives are classified or explained away. Independent researchers face barriers that seem designed to discourage investigation rather than protect historical sites. The technology exists today to fully explore these underground complexes, to analyze every artifact with unprecedented precision, to finally answer the questions that have puzzled humanity for generations. Yet that technology is not applied. Those resources are not allocated. Those questions remain deliberately unanswered. Consider what we might learn if the barriers were removed. If the underground chambers were fully explored, if the suppressed artifacts were properly analyzed, if the censored research was published, we might discover that human civilization is far older and more sophisticated than we've been told. We might find that our ancestors possessed knowledge we've forgotten, capabilities we've lost, wisdom we desperately need to rediscover. The implications reach beyond archaeology and history. If ancient peoples mastered technologies we're still struggling to understand, what other assumptions about human potential might be wrong? What other limitations we accept as natural might actually be artificially imposed? The guardians of these secrets understand the power of knowledge. They recognize that certain truths, once revealed, cannot be contained. They know that humanity's understanding of its own past, present, and future would be fundamentally altered by what lies beneath the earth in those restricted zones. But truth has a way of surfacing despite the most careful suppression. Fragments leak out through unofficial channels. Researchers piece together clues from scattered sources. Technology advances to the point where hidden evidence becomes harder to conceal. The ancient Chinese left us more than warriors made of clay and bronze. They left us proof that humanity is capable of achievements far beyond what we've been conditioned to believe. They demonstrated that civilizations can rise to heights we can barely imagine, that knowledge once gained need not be lost forever, that the potential for human advancement extends far beyond current limitations. The question facing us now is simple. Will we accept the comfortable lies that keep us ignorant, or will we demand access to the truth that has been hidden from us? Will we continue to believe that our ancestors were primitive and limited, or will we recognize that we may be the ones who have forgotten how to truly advance? The choice is ours. The evidence waits beneath the earth, behind restricted barriers, in classified documents and suppressed research. But it exists. And someday, despite all efforts to keep it hidden, the full scope of ancient Chinese achievement will be revealed. When that day comes, everything we thought we knew about human history, about our capabilities, about our future potential, will be forever changed. The guardians of secrets may delay that revelation, but they cannot prevent it indefinitely. Truth has momentum that eventually overcomes all obstacles, and when it emerges, the world will never be the same.